All right. With that being said, we're going to head out to Palm Bay and we're going to talk to Richard. Richard, what's going on with your 2014 Dodge Avenger?
Hey, Larry, I got two questions here. One is I want to change the front rubber brake hoses on my disc brakes, and I just wonder if there's any tips for that. Let me just give you a little bit of background. I've bled my brakes many times with, I've got this little Mighty Vac power brake bleeder that runs off my air compressor, so I've done that many times. I know my way around bleeding brakes without introducing any air into the system. I know not to let the fluid run out of the master cylinder and all, the reservoir in the master cylinder and all that stuff. So I'm comfortable messing with the brakes. I've never changed rubber brake lines before. Any tips on there other than just being real quick and using common sense to prevent introducing air into the system? That's my first question.
Well, if you take a brake line off, you're going to get air into the system, Richard. There's no question about that. But now, listen, there's two types of brake hoses. I don't know which ones you got on that car. Some of them, where they join into the other hose or into the caliper, will use a brass seal ring. You know what I'm talking about? It's what they use for a gasket. It's a brass or a copper crush washer. Some of them use those, and you need to make sure that you got a new one when you go back in with it. Most of them use some type of a crush washer going into the caliper. And usually on the other end, there'll be a flared compression fitting. So my biggest thing is to make sure that you get new crush washers with your brake hoses. They'll come in all kinds of different sizes, but you want to make sure that you get the correct size. And then after you get the brake hoses on there, listen, I'd let you bleed brakes on my truck. How's that? It sounds like you're pretty proficient at it, so you know how to use a vacuum bleeder, and you know not to let the reservoir run dry between brake bleeds. So you're good with that. You're going to ace that job. What's the second question, Richard?
So, thanks, Larry. Second question. Recently, I got my rear window retinted. I had tint on the car from when I bought it brand new. I put it on there. Great stuff. It's made by Lumar. Excellent product. And I went to the dealer, and I was talking to them about something else, but I just mentioned that, hey, I got a couple little air bubbles forming on my rear window. Well, they talked me into replacing the tinting under warranty, so there wasn't going to be any charge. They replaced the tinting, but the downside was that they scraped off all my heater wires in the process because they couldn't get the old coating, the old tint to delaminate. They soaked it overnight and everything. So this was supposed to be like a no money out of pocket retint, but I consider that to be a major safety issue. So I'm going to get a new back glass with the heater strips built in. It's $425 installed. And I just wondered, is this just one of those hard life lessons that you just have to learn and that's just the way it is? Or I called Lumar. They don't cover it. The dealer, the installing dealer, which is like he's a pro-level dealer, they're great. I mean, they've given me good service, but they don't cover it either. So it's my problem. Is this just like one of those, just one of those hard knocks? You just have to learn it and just accept it?
Hey, listen, Richard, this isn't the first time anybody's ran into this. If you've got, a rear window defroster in your car and you put tint on it, and the tint fails after a certain period of time, the only way that I could, it being a 2014 model vehicle, we're talking 6, 7, if we're talking 6, 7, 8 years now, listen, if anything, it would be like this. If the tint failed, and see, even if the tint failed, technically it could not cause the rear defroster to fail. Now removing the tint could cause it to fail because you could, scratch it or whatever. But this is one of those things that just happens in life,
Okay.
I hate that you have to replace the rear glass, but it wouldn't be the first one I've seen having to be replaced. The tint wore out. It's almost impossible to get the tint back off, the old tint, without damaging the rear window defroster. And it's Florida. We want tint, to keep the inside of the car a little bit cooler. It is what it is. I really couldn't blame it on anybody. I can't even blame it on the tint on a 7-8 year old car. That's about all the tint's going to last, until it starts fading and, having problems with it here in Florida. So, Richard, thank you for your call. I hope we helped you out. And good luck on those brake hoses.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Let's take a quick break. We got full lines now, so thank you, everybody, for utilizing the talent of Larry Perry for our own benefit. We got one line open, two now that Richard just said. Thank you very much. 844-580-9326. 844-580.
Hi, folks. Larry Perry here. For automotive information, maybe you got automotive questions on cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. Maybe you're thinking about purchasing a used vehicle, and maybe you just want my opinion. Tune in to the Magic Mechanic radio show every Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. on wdbo.com. Also, tune in to our Magic Mechanic YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe. And we'll all get together, maybe fix a few cars while we're at it.